Good night, and welcome to the Collister Fahie show. Give me one quick second. Welcome to the Collister Fahie show. Boy, today is Thursday, March 6, 2025, and this is episode number 48. And on the hot seat, the topic is confidence. So, to all my listeners around the Caribbean, the world, and especially in the USVI, good night and welcome. So the topic is confidence. And before I get into the politics and the other social events around the world and in the USVI, I want to tonight give my personal shout out. Good night, Cheryl. Thank you for watching as usual. Give my personal shout out to the University of the Virgin Islands where I work. I would like to say congratulations to President Sophia George, and I will like to invite the public to all the events at UVA and the St. Thomas campus, the OEK, the Orville Keene campus, starting on March 14th and culminating, I think, on the 17th with her inauguration ceremony. So, on a personal note, again, I've said it before, but welcome to the Virgin Islands and the University of the Virgin Islands to Dr. Sophia George, President Sophia George. And we're going to start off the events. I think at UVI starts on the 14th with the show at the Sports and Fitness Center with Kaimani, Marley, Lords and the Switch, and others. And then we're going to also have other events, but the main ones are the concert with Kaimani Marley at the Sports and Fitness Center to benefit the renovation of the Reichhold Center. Then we will also have Afternoon on the Green. So I invite the public to come on down on St. Thomas at the UVI Golf Course and take part in that spectacular event that happens every year. And then, of course, on Monday, we will have the inauguration ceremony for President Sophia George. So to the community, I say, come on down, take part in all the events. We'll have that listing for you tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, we're going to start the show again, and I'll give you the full rundown of the events, times, and how you can take part. With that said, I do believe that President George will continue the work started by former President David Hall, and so I see the university moving in leaps and bounds. Now, as it goes with the politics and the social issues affecting the Virgin Islands, I'll start with the Virgin Islands tonight and then go around the globe. As usual, I keep getting information from the different news organizations because I don't really read them much. They pop up and I see them. But I was asked the question, what do I think of the Department of License and Consumer now trying to ensure or make sure that the law is followed when it comes to at least two forms of payment in the businesses. And my answer was simply this: if it is the law, follow the law. There are exceptions to the law, of course. You know, the fishermen, the farmers, people making less than a certain amount, I guess, who have to take cash. But for all the other businesses, if you are supposed to accept two forms of payment, just follow the law. Accept two forms of payment. That's just the long and short of that. Regardless of the excuses or the reasons, the law states that you should have at least two, then have at least two. Card, cash. Simple. I move on. News also is the fact that, no, I leave that till the end because I'm going to spend some time on that. But also in the news, we're seeing a regurgitation of the fact that there's a guilty plea. I won't rehash that. You know my thoughts on that from last night. All I'm waiting for now is the sentencing to see where that goes. Because the community is divided about what they think. Good night, Naomi, and welcome in. The community is divided about what they think is going to be the end result of that guilty verdict. I say let's wait and see. Sentencing will occur, and we will get to that when we get to that. I also saw where the government of the Virgin Islands, or the PFA, appears to have gotten some good news as a judge, Judge Teague, I think, is deciding to dismiss the case brought by, I guess the contractor is Hill. My take on that is this. That is a fight among contractors who want to take the funds of the Virgin Islands and do work on behalf of the Virgin Islands. Now, whether or not the procurement process was followed or not is a different argument. But I think the court found that basically Hill had no standing, basically. So the case is being recommended for dismissal or being dismissed. At the end of the day, the contracts went out, and one contractor feels that he's, quote unquote, being left out or was not chosen because of whatever the reason. If that contractor had been chosen, we wouldn't have this case. Or maybe we would have the case because the other contractor might have done the same thing. So that is why I say that is a fight among big fish trying to take the money from the little pond. And that is all I'll say on that. Now, let me get to the one that I stepped over just prior. How in the hell could WAPA now come back to the public and tell the people of St. Thomas and St. John that they're going to be rotating power because of generation capacity? Good night, Cathy, and welcome. How? Again, they're not reading the room. So WAPA is now telling us, almost exactly a year later, after so many millions were pumped into WAPA, to quote unquote, stave off the state of emergency. And we're back to rotating power. I tell you, these people are heartless. These people don't have no heart. So what you're going to do now, CEO Carnet, ask for the legislature and the governor to find millions of dollars to put into WAPA to bring back up the capacity of the power generation? Wow. I tell you, the topic is confidence. What kind of confidence you think you giving the people of St. Thomas and St. John in your government? Because we ain't even talking about WAPA. Because there's no confidence in WAPA. The people of the Virgin Islands across the board feels that WAPA is a failed institution for decades. But for over a year, you have gaslit the people again, giving them false hope. You have people even in the community defending the pumping of millions of dollars back into WAPA and saying, oh, the governor don't have a choice. It's a public utility and we need to save WAPA because we need to hold on to the utility. Now they're talking about privatization. But my takeaway is the lack, just the lack of understanding, the lack of compassion. The fact that you could just rotate power, you just send out a press release and there's nothing that anyone can do. In fact, there is nothing that the legislature, nothing that the executive branch is doing right now. They haven't come to the microphone like they did a year ago for a state of emergency. So was it really a state of emergency? Or a state of wanting more money? I mean, when I saw that story, I just shake my head. We cannot continue to perform like this. Right now, the Democratic Party is in the 20s in terms of voter approval. In the 20s. What do you think the confidence level of the people of St. Thomas and St. John and in St. Croix? What do you think is the confidence level that we have of the Brian Roach administration, our government? What kind of confidence we have? Notice how quiet the government, and when I say the government, the senators, the governor and his staff, you notice how quiet they are? Even WAPA, you see how quiet they are as they reinstitute rotation of power? I wouldn't be surprised if the rotation of power go down by me right now. Because I got a feeling that the rotation of power got a lot of things to do with a lot of things. So to my listeners and my viewers, expect anything. I wouldn't doubt that I am one of them feeder that can go down between 6 and 8. Because one thing I learned in these Virgin Islands is that nothing is by coincidence. Just look at the other shows. When they get the real truth coming out. The real truth. All of a sudden, you're seeing signal going in and out. It happened to me a couple times. I remember it happened to me with my episode when I had the topic being the governor have no clothes. That for sure I remember. But I'm saying to everybody who is listening to me and hearing me and watching me, they are doing the same thing to us again. They gaslight you with rotation. They gaslight you with almost being out of money so they can't pay employees. They gaslight you. Oh, we're running out of fuel. We haven't paid the fuel vendor. They gaslight you and tell you, oh, we're putting people in position who have the ability and the skill to take us out of the doldrums that we're in, to take us out of the crisis. They gaslight us and tell us if we take our float bonds and take credit lines of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, we can stave off the very same thing that we're back to square one again 12 months later. Power rotation. So the confidence of the people of St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John is zero. Your red cat is zero. Right, Mary, and welcome. Notice I ain't even getting hot tonight. I gonna get hotter when I speak about the United States and what Trump is doing and how these Democrats in the United States and by extension its territories are also heartless. But back to this Whopper thing. So what is the CEO? What is Carl Knight going to tell us now? Is he going to come out and try to sweet talk us like Governor Bryan? Because one thing I notice, they could smile a lot, they could sweet talk a lot. They can't give you no solutions, but they're telling you for sure what's going to happen if not for. They can't tell you the solutions, but if you don't do this, good night, Lucy, and welcome. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. And if you don't do, that's fear mongering, gaslighting, the worst kind. So to all the people who gas going on and off, you're back to square one. You're back to square one. They come out and say that they have monies to replace people, equipment, the refrigerator, replace this and replace that. I ain't never hear nobody say that they get a fridge replaced. I know I had to buy a fridge for a old lady because I couldn't take it. That was from me personally. But I'll tell you this much. The governor, the WAPA board, and them leaders at WAPA, are you still getting paid a big money, you know? Are you still getting paid a huge salary? While the people suffering. That is all I've been saying for near 10 years. Over 10 years. I agree, I am more vocal for the last 3 years. But that is because I can't take no more. Enough is enough. And maybe my voice, if I add it to the other voices who dissenting, maybe it will make a difference. I don't know. But how many people? I see Cathy saying she lose so much power today. How much more of this can the people at St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John take? Well, right now it's St. Thomas and St. John. But how much more I expect us to take? It to me is almost as if the government don't care no more. And I could do what I want and say what I want. It is what it is. And sufferation reigns again. I tell you, it remind me of my episode when I said the governor have no clothes. Who pulling these strings, buddy? Who in the world could have allowed such pie in the face for the governor? 1 year later, almost to the day, you're back to power rotation. The governor is a failure. Notice I ain't calling the name because it doesn't matter who the governor was. Would have been a failure. So calling the name Albert Bryan right now, it don't even matter. Any governor who ensnare the Virgin Islands in what is going on, when it comes to WAPA, is a failure. A failure across the board. Yet the governor is out there defending, putting Joseph Bushulta at Waiko. That is what his aim and interest is. When people losing power left, right, and center. My people at the Virgin Islands, my listeners, my viewers, pray with me because we cannot continue this way. We cannot continue this way. One thing I noticed with the governor, the government and the officials of government, these senators, the governor, and these people in high positions, they don't want to take no blame. They don't want to take no responsibility for the failure. Yet at the same time, they show up in droves to take credit for things that they ain't even supposed to take credit for. That is how our government is running. So I want to ask the question. If WAPA is failing and we back to rotation, then WAPA, you right, Lucy, is a mule. WAPA is worse than that. WAPA is the biggest money laundering scheme I ever seen in my life that I personally am aware of. I call the government of the Virgin Islands similar to a RICO. But I single out WAPA because WAPA is a never-ending hole that money is being thrown into. It must be for a reason. All these highly paid executives who come and go, they're gone. They get bonuses and gone. All of these contractors that come in, Hagland is a monster. Hagland is a monster. Hundreds of millions of dollars. WAPA still rotating power. We still ain't get a report from WAPA about the Wärtsilä generators. 1 week they jump up and say, well, we got 3 brand new Wärtsilä generators. The online and things looking up. The next week they need repair. Where the Inspector General? Where is the Inspector General? Because something is off. You see, my listeners, people like me can't be the Inspector General, you know. People like me will never be the Inspector General. Just like how people like me, I don't believe I'll get no elected office in these Virgin Islands unless the people of the Virgin Islands decide to go full rogue, and just rip up the status quo and reset the Virgin Islands. What happened to the Wärtsilä generators? They done repair. We know if they're back online. How much more millions now we got to pay for the repair of brand new Wärtsilä generators that just come in? These people are playing with the lives of the people of the Virgin Islands, intentionally so. And who don't like it, that's their business. Show me different, and I'll speak different. Show me that you care, and I'll speak different. Show some kind, just some kind of competence, and I'll speak different. Because I keep saying it. If the governor and all these senators were employees of a boss who they had to report to, all of them would have gone home. That is why I'm telling you, the people of the Virgin Islands, you are the bosses of these people. 5,000 of you descend on top of the legislature and see what happened now. You want to see them come out humble like a lamb? But as long as we stay put, afraid to lose your job, afraid that they're going to fire you because you're exempt employee, afraid to speak up and say what is true. Glad for the gravy train, some of us. Glad to drive home a government vehicle after 5 with full authorization. Glad to wear fancy dress and jacket and tie because you feel you're something when you do that. But then you're weak because if you need the applause of other people to make you feel like you want something and you're losing in the game already. Because ain't nothing better than self-love. And if you don't love yourself how you be, and you're a pretender fake, that is why the government of the Virgin Islands might be the way it is. WAPA really aggravating. I tell you, I don't even want to get hot. Because I suspect that that is what they like. When people get up and they get hot over WAPA, my people of the Virgin Islands, my listeners, my viewers, it's time to stop listening and just listen and agree. Time for action. What is the action? I don't know. I know that spontaneous combustion is what we're headed for in these Virgin Islands. When people start to die in the hospital in droves, maybe we're going to start to see action. When people, children start to suffer more than what they're doing now in the public schools, maybe then we're going to see action. When more people get found guilty for corruption in these Virgin Islands, and more people start to snitch, and other people start to get indicted, maybe then we're going to see action. And lastly, on this topic with WAPA, maybe when WAPA crash as a whole, the entire system go down, and we got blackouts for days, maybe then we're going to have action. We're on the verge of that. We're on the verge of that. With old equipment, with new equipment coming in old that need repair. All these contracts left, right, and center, because notice, over the last year, WAPA have signed millions of dollars in contracts. Where they going to get the money from? Because they say they broke. They say they can't pay for fuel. And at the same time, the hard-working employees of WAPA, I love them employees of WAPA, they have to put up with a lot that I don't know. You see the rank and file WAPA, they take knockbout from them people who is officials and in higher levels of power in WAPA. Because you see them people, they live good. They eating high on the hog and leaving the pig foot and the pig mouth for the rank and file who taking blame out there like it's their fault. It ain't their fault. All them WAPA man who going around pretending to be reading meter that ain't working. You know how hard it is for somebody to pretend to do a job? You know how hard it is for somebody to go out knowing fully well that in the office they're estimating bills, but yet them guys going out on the road to the few meters that might be working and visiting the ones that none not working just to pretend they're doing a job. What about them workers who doing water, who have to go down in the same holes them over and over, month in, month out? Because the pipes them, the metal pipes them corroded and they just, them 25-inch busting left, right, and center. You don't see it. They're in the very same hole them month in, month out. It's so bad that they don't even cover back some of the hole them. They just put orange cones, big orange cones around them because they know it coming again in another month or two. You ain't see how much backhoe that be just left there, they know it coming back again. That is the state of WAPA. Yet them employees who willing to do the work have to go out there. They ain't getting no raises. When last they get a raise? When last rank and file get promotions? And so I stand with the rank and file of WAPA, the leadership, they have been found wanting. They have been found wanting. So half of WAPA, because WAPA is a failed institution that they're trying to privatize to enrich themselves again. And yes, I said it. WAPA is a failed institution that they're now trying to get off of their hands through privatization or public-private partnership to enrich themselves one more time. Prove me wrong. WAPA is just like the racing industry in the Virgin Islands and the casino industry in the Virgin Islands, the VLTs and the slot machines. They would prefer to harm the people of the Virgin Islands and put money into their pockets, and some of them who say they love the Virgin Islands getting big money off of these places. Yet they would not do anything to ensure the safety of the public. So I come off a whopper and I'll go into a touchy subject. But this is the kind of conversations that we're going to have. I don't want to be the same. I want to have conversations that make sense, that got substance. So let me ask you a question. When is the government of the Virgin Islands, to the Department of Health or Human Services, whichever one deals with addiction to gambling, going to give the people of the Virgin Islands a report on whether or not the gambling in the Virgin Islands are costing people more than what we think? As if you go around St. Thomas, I don't know about St. John, don't know about St. Christ, I'm going to speak about St. Thomas. But my listeners, you could hit me up in the comments and let me know. How many people go straight from work to the game room? How many people in the game room Monday to Sunday, 2 to 3 hours a day? How many people in the Virgin Islands have lost thousands trying to win hundreds? I don't know. But that is the topic that I want to broach. Because I'm telling you, it's one thing when you go into gambling hall and you win consistently and it's not affecting you. But what about those people who go to all the old gambling halls and the new ones that popping up and spend their life savings, they spend the whole salary, they spend what they don't even have the borrow to go into these areas. And some people might say, before you don't know if that's true. I don't have to know if it's true. I go from from history. I go from the reports all across the United States and the world. Think about it. If you have a drug problem in the Virgin Islands, invariably, you're going to have mental issues. You're going to have sick people. You're going to have homelessness because they're going to do too much. Abuse of anything is a sickness. So don't tell me that you don't have abuse of gambling. What does the history of gambling tell us? People lose their lives over gambling, lose their homes, their family over gambling. People will do some of the worst things to get money to gamble. And so I am not talking about the responsible gamblers, because the naysayers going to always tell you about the responsible ones. The ones who could take a hit of coke and it don't do them nothing. The ones who could drink morning, lunch, and night, even on government time, and it don't do them nothing. But what about those that drinking? Real alcoholics, who everybody knows alcoholics. The breath smells stink of it in government offices. Nobody doing nothing about it. What about those who the government loves, who they send away to rehabilitation, not once, not twice, not 3 times, over and over and over, and government dime? Still they're not cured. So let's look at gambling. How many people has the government had to intervene with when it comes to gambling? We don't know. Maybe we need to know. And that is why I say these are topics nobody want to talk about. Boring topics, they say. No, it ain't boring. It's never a boring topic if it's affecting the people of the Virgin Islands. And like I said, this is not throwing shade on the responsible gamblers. Because trust me, you got people out there who gambling who know the game well. They play the game well, and when they don't gamble. When they have responsibilities, they take care of their responsibilities and leave gambling alone to come back when they are all right. So how many people in the Virgin Islands actually right now hooked on gambling worse than crack? I see you, Lucy. A lot of them. A lot of them. How many people in the Virgin Islands? Where's the reports? Where's the data? Because without data, we live in carelessly when it comes to our gaming industry. And believe me when I say this, if we don't take stock, the gaming industry will be doing a greater disservice to the community on all three islands than drugs, alcohol, and corruption. So we need to look at that. This is just my warning as a concerned citizen, knowing what I know and watching some people, as you say, Lucy, they fall on the face, swollen faces, people, shame box mash up because of the things they have to do just to get money to go gambling. A lot of the hotel them and the guest houses have regular clients because of gambling. You understand? Take it how you want to take it, but a lot of them have regular customers because of gambling. Because with gambling invariably comes prostitution, and I'll leave it at that. So I continue. Take me serious with that one. Gambling in the Virgin Islands is out of control, and a lot of people know it, and they're saying nothing. Just like how alcoholism in the government of the Virgin Islands is out of control, but a lot of them who in power and have the ability to do something about it, them are alcoholic too, or so the streets say. Go by any bar around the place. I ain't gonna call what I wanted to say just now, because people gonna feel like picking on them. But love a rum, love a gambling, and love a drugs have a lot of people now ending up under indictment. Anyhow, we continue. Another serious topic I want to speak about tonight. You notice my topics, they vary, some of them deep. Another topic I want to talk about tonight. Keep saying it. How is it the government of the Virgin Islands, all three branches of government, still not put forward plans, solutions, stopgaps for the number of people that sit in jail waiting for the cases to be tried? How come nobody talking about that? Because if you notice, Darren Richardson was not remanded to custody pending his sentencing. You know how many Virgin Islanders commit crime, whether petty or serious, who are currently incarcerated waiting trial. They either couldn't come up with the bail amount, couldn't come up with the 10% or whatever, but they're in jail, pending trial. Now, how is that fair? How is that fair? Remember, it is the prosecution, the Attorney General's office who could walk into court and say, well, listen, we don't think that that person should be given bail because we think they are flight risk. Good night to Tiba and welcome, my brother. We don't want them on the road. We believe they are flight risk and a danger to the community. And if the judge buys that, the person is remanded to custody. They're in jail pending trial. Some of them didn't kill nobody. Some of them may be in there for assault. Some of them might be in there for other crimes. But isn't it strange that a certain set of people seem to always get the benefit of the doubt? And others have to fight? I'll give you a personal story. I remember when they arrested me, tried to set me up and arrested me. They arrest me and they arrest two other people saying that we steal $1,000 from a bank account that our names were the signatories on. A bank account that I opened in Scotia Bank back in the day. You know how much they put my bail at? $75,000. You know what the two other people who had the same crime, their bail was? $25,000. You know what Assistant Attorney General Spratty said when he came to court? I was a flight risk. And he felt that they should keep my bail at $75,000 with no 10%. Judge Kathleen Mackay asked, who did I kill? And she said, well, you put $75,000 bail, but you haven't even filed the charges against the man. I have no document in front of me with charges. How could you arrest him and you don't have charges? But anyway, as the judge, I am giving you guys a week to file the charges. I am giving you that story so that you could understand how cokey the legal justice system can be. So what about the people who not like me, who stand up and fight them until I expose them? What about those people who don't have the mental capacity, don't have the family, don't have the supporters, do not have the money, finances? Because 1 week later, when they finally filed the charges, the same day when I went back to court for my arraignment and write it in written, not type. Oh no, they didn't have time to type nothing. They forget, I guess. And so they just write in 5 counts in handwriting. And the judge says she found probable cause to move the case forward. Because this now was no longer Judge Kathleen Mackay, because she smelled a rat. And all of a sudden it gone over to the very same judge who signed the warrant for my arrest. You see how the thing's set? So what happened to people who don't have people who can defend them? And so I asked, when is the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch going to step up now and try to show some humanity to people who are arrested, charged, but they're not guilty of no crime yet, because they ain't been to trial. So you got to presume them innocent until they go to trial and found guilty. And then people wasting away in jail. Yet people who steal millions from the hospital, people who steal millions from WAPA, people who steal millions, take kickbacks, bribes, not remanded to custody, and they are not flight risk. In fact, they could travel wherever they want to fix house and check up on their businesses because the judges do not see them as no threat. But them is the gravest threat to the community. Who can be more of a threat to the community than the elected officials and the people we put in position to be competent, ethical, have integrity, and do the job that they were supposed to do? When they violate all that, they show incompetence, they show corruption, they show unethical behavior, rife with conflicts of interest, and then to top it all off, they caught with the hand in the cookie jar, stealing government funds, taking bribes, and shuttling contracts to themselves and to their friends. That is the worst kind of crime, in my view. So again, my warning to the powers that be and the leaders of our so-called government: do the right thing. Find a way to be just, at least until they're found guilty or innocent, under the presumption of innocence. Equal application of the law is a simple thing, you know. You understand? Equal application of the law is a simple thing. Preserving the rights of people who are accused of crime is a simple thing. It is written on the books. The sad thing, it is the interpreters of these laws who, I believe, are doing the most harm to these Virgin Islands. Notice a judge just signaled that he can dismiss the case of one contractor against the PFA and another contractor, even though the contractor had the lowest bid. And you would think that to save the people of the Virgin Islands money, they would have chosen the lowest bid. They didn't. They chose the contractor whose bid was much more. These are the political ramifications of, I wouldn't call it shenanigans. That is the political reality of doing business a certain way. Because procurement standards should be followed at all times, and you wouldn't have issues like this. Conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest should be avoided, and you wouldn't have situations like that. What about the hundreds of millions of dollars that the government of the Virgin Islands is on the hook for? To Acom and Optim. Because no matter how much the government of the Virgin Islands appealed up to FEMA, once FEMA found out that some of those invoices contained no disaster work or hurricane-related work, FEMA refuses to pay for it. And if it is $100 million in invoices that are disavowed, that money has to come out of the coffers of the people of the Virgin Islands. How many government officials you see run to the mic and admit that they made a boo-boo, that they failed, and so they're now costing the taxpayers an extra 50 million, an extra 100 million, because they submitted documentation that FEMA has found is not eligible. And I keep telling people, this is no slight on anyone. It is a failure of the system. The system is designed to work if you follow the rules. Anytime you don't follow the rules, you find yourself in situations where you now have to try to circle back. I reject them nonsense. Follow the rules. Simple. Follow the rules. And that is why I am always confident. See, the thing, this topic tonight is confidence. I am always confident in the things I do and the things I say, because I follow the rules. I follow the rules. You know how many times people come to me and they tell me, oh, well, Fahie, no, I'm not in this and I'm not. I say, listen, hold on. What is the mission? The mission is A, B, and C. Well, all them things in between is just noise. I am focused on the mission. And if the mission is to see something raised from the ground to the roof, and it is supposed to be done with a 5-ton jack, I am going to use a 5-ton jack because that is what it says. I am not going to get a 3-ton jack from my friend and then fake that it is a 20-ton jack. You see where I'm going? My people of the Virgin Islands, my listeners, my viewers, confidence allows you to stand up and say, I ain't doing that. Confidence allows you to say, like Cathy, my good friend Cathy, listening to me. Cathy don't always say numbers don't lie, you know. People take numbers and they put them in order to make it look a certain way, but numbers don't lie. Rules are rules, and anything that deviates from the rule is illegal and in many times unlawful. So what is really true confidence? God, this is where I wanted to get. I was using all of those to get to it. Confidence sometimes is owning up to the mistakes that you have made. Knowing that once you own up to it, either got to pay a consequence or the people going to understand. Either which way. You have told the truth and you own up to it. Confidence gives you the ability to go into places like the legislature and speak truthfully. Not give the same old story year in, year out that they've been using since the 80s. I come here in the 80s, late 80s. And from since I come here in the 80s, people go in front of the senators and tell them, well, we don't have these numbers right now, but we'll get it to you. We will put it together and get it to you after the hearing. Oh no, I do not have those numbers for you, Senator. I'm going to bring them to you. I'll get them to you after the hearing. I'll provide them to you. And our dutiful soldiers, Democrat majority for donkey years. Okay, no problem. I understand, but through the chair and the record, I'm requesting this information, the amount of information they're requesting through the chair. If people had confidence and competence, those questions could have been answered in the legislature. And explain to me why any commissioner, director, CEO cannot tell one of the people in the well, step out and make a phone call and get me them numbers within 20 minutes. They don't have no confidence then. Because every place that I have worked, you ask me for something, if I don't have it, I am telling you I don't have it. If I can get it, I guarantee you're getting it before close of business on the same day. And if I am working on it with the intention of finishing it by the next day, you're guaranteed an email telling you that that is exactly what is happening. So now we're going to give a school lesson in confidence before I go to President Trump, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Rhinos, MAGA, and what is going on in the United States and the rest of the world. Let me give you classroom confidence 101 for the next 5 minutes. To all who listening who work for government or intend to work for government, these are some things you may want to write down. First of all, if you are working for an agency and you are competent, when you receive an email requesting information, you first must, within the span of 3 minutes, respond to the email, at least acknowledging it, giving an indication of the time limit that it may take you to get that job completed. That's the first thing. Secondly, you move expeditiously to get that information and provide it to who wants it. If you are doing other things, you better learn to multitask, or you put them in order of importance. And you deal with them in that order. Next, if you are preparing for a hearing and you already know what the senators, the governor, whoever is expecting, you better prepare, and prepare well with your team. Because nothing is worse than going into a meeting or hearing and you and your team sound like fools, where are you giving contradictory answers or giving contradictory information. It shows a lack of preparation and, in my view, incompetence across the board. We continue. If for whatever reason you may have an emergency, you may not be able to finish your tasks as you indicated a sign, another email, please, explaining your emergency to your direct supervisor and up the chain, letting them know what is going on. They're not looking news, they expect you to do the job. So if there are any of you who feel that you are so entitled that you could just do what you want, then therein lies the problem. Because you are not confident in doing the government work or your work. You are confident that you can do what you want and there will be no consequences. The word unprepared are prepared, because they don't say unprepared. They don't say, Senator, I am not prepared. So they say I'm prepared. I'm not prepared to respond to that now, but I will get you the information so that you can make an informed decision in the darkness. Because they don't want to tell the senators in the gallery, in the public, that they have 4 brand new employees who are getting paid over $50,000 a year when the job specs are similar or the same to people who are getting paid $20,000 and $30,000, $40,000 a year. It is a game. You're right, Cathy. It is a game. And that is why I say confidence 101. Any and every individual who goes to any meeting, any press conference, any hearing in the legislature, anything to do with a meeting, that knows the parameters of the meeting, the agenda, and they are not prepared, it is their fault. And shame on people like the senators who hold some of these people in such high regard that they let them off the hook intentionally sometimes let them off the hook to try to cover up information, secret away information from the public, and just trying not to make some of those testifiers look bad. Good night, Chantel, and welcome. And notice I say look bad. Because notice, if it is a testifier or anybody who they don't quote unquote like, they revel in trying to make them look incompetent, ignorant, unprepared, and outright incompatible with the status quo and what they want to achieve. Well, let me tell you something. It's too late for a lot of that now. Half of the classroom. I think you get my drift. It's called professionalism. Keep it professional. Keep your documents. Provide your documents. Go to the Senate. Talk about your documents. Give the people a proper budget based on the actuals. Stop hiding up money. Stop pretending that you're giving percentages. You sound like Roosevelt David and them during the election when Dion win by 57% across all ballot boxes. Anyhow, I digress. Stop giving a cokey eye to the people. All these things that you do are coming round like karma in 2025. The Virgin Islands cannot take no more of it. And so people say, well, Mr. Fahie, what's the end result you want to get with your podcasts? What is driving you? You're so against the Brian Roach. Far from it. The podcast came to me as a divine thing. You wouldn't understand. But I'll just put it this way. It's like a calling, but not really a calling. It's more of me just explaining things to people in a down-to-earth way. Knowing and realizing some of the verbose ways in which people just speak in the legislature and in the VI consortium and the daily news. Verbosity through the roof, legalese through the roof, the twist and turn words instead of just telling you what it means. And so once I realized that the end result of my podcast is to this, is to try to give a warning to the Brian Roach administration, all three branches of government, that you have done too much. You have gone too far. And the people of the Virgin Islands are now feeling the consequences of your arrogance, incompetence, entitlement, and failure for 50 years. The people of the Virgin Islands deserve better. How much more do they want? That is why I decided to do this podcast. It is a form of enlightenment, yes, Naomi, but it's more so a plea to the powers that be. I know all of you is my friend. Every single one of you I know. You could do better. Some people have given up on you guys and girls, saying that it is too late. You guys are too corrupt. It's in your DNA. I say corruption is a choice. You have a choice of being corrupt or not. When are you going to look in the mirror and say, I have done wrong? I have done enough. That is confidence. Confidence to know that you are responsible for people other than yourselves and your close-knit group. And if you don't take warning and you do not see the wisdom in what I'm saying, well, when I get orange jumpsuit, I ain't gonna sorry for you and I'm gonna talk about you on my podcast. And you're gonna deserve it. So you know forearmed because you are forewarned. Collister Fahie and the Collister Fahie podcast is going to speak about you if I get indicted. If you get found guilty, I'm going to talk about you. When you get sentenced, I'm going to talk about you and I ain't going to sorry. None of you were sorry when I was trying to brutalize me. But that is not the case. I care more about the people of the Virgin Islands. And so they could keep, good evening, Kimbra, and welcome. They could keep my cases on the docket till when I done dead. The fact remains I had the confidence to take them there. Ida Smith et al., all of us, we had the confidence to take the supervisor election to court, and there she gonna stay. We ain't playing them games no more. Fear is for the fearful. Fear ain't for the lions. Fear ain't for the lionesses. And confidence is a stain you can't wipe off. What you gonna do to me because I'm confident? Nothing. You can't do a darn thing. And so I want the people who listen to me, who watch me, to get this kind of confidence throughout your lives, even as it comes to dealing with your children. My children are great children, enough of them, but I don't cuddle them. You understand? Because life is hard. Life is hard. My children are brilliant. They take the schooling serious. Some make mistakes, as we all do. Love them still, but they're going to have to learn the hard way. And I said that to tell you, that is where it begins. The confidence begins at home. Teach your children to not go along to get along. Teach your children that you have to be ethical. You must have integrity in the things you do. Some they're going to take and some they're not. But you got to also teach them that there are consequences to your actions. I don't care what you do. There are consequences to it, whether good or bad. And once you could instill confidence, high self-esteem into your children, you move them to school, move them to college. And when they come into the Virgin Islands, these lowlifes in government who seem to think that everybody, young daughter is theirs, to knock about because they want to get a promotion, them things ain't gonna happen. Because your children gonna walk off the job. Or take them to human resources regardless of what they're gonna try to make up on them. So I tell you, it starts at home. The confidence I want my listeners and my viewers to have is that any job you do is a good job. So that when these misleaders decide to send you home because you're an exempt employee who want to do the right thing and they don't like you, so they set you up and get rid of you, or they just get rid of you because they have the power to do. You ain't see what happened to Doc's daughter? All she do was have lunch. She gone home. Any job is good. Any job is respectable. Go bag if you have to. Call me. I gonna see if I could get you a job. But be not fearful. Have the confidence to walk off. To not have fear. When it comes to the court, have the confidence to go into the court knowing that the judge is a human being like you. And even though they got on the black robes, I want to talk to you how they want to talk to you in the court. As long as you are respectful, give them their turn to speak. And then ask them when you can have the floor. When they give you the floor, you could talk what you want. Just be respectful and follow the procedures of the court. Because there is no procedure in the court that say you must take verbal abuse from no judge. There is nothing in the procedures of the court that say that the judge should treat you differently because the defendant is a friend of theirs who don't lay carpet in the house or do construction for them. I reject that. That's the confidence you have to have, because going to court is a part of life. Never be afraid of court. In fact, love court. That is the confidence you must have. And when it comes to your elected leaders now, you must have the confidence to be able to match them foot for foot. That if they're going to be vindictive, you could be vindictive too. If they're going to lie on you, you could lie on them too. Because we're good for the goose, good for the gander. And if they ever try to slight you, you slight them back. That is the confidence you must have. Because in this 2025, I noticed that the leaders of government across the globe, but especially here in the Virgin Islands, feel they could take liberties with people who they think are the inferior or who have to answer to them. Again, I reject that. All of us bleed blood. And I don't care what the monetary difference is. Your $70,000 or your $100,000 is no greater than my 30 or my 50. Not at all. In fact, getting paid higher because you went to college and have AA, BA, Masters, PhD, jurists, do not mean a darn thing if you don't have common sense. Don't mean nothing if you're corrupt to the bone. In fact, it is very demeaning. It means that you are weak. And so that is the kind of confidence I want my viewers to have. Because that is the kind of confidence that bodes well for you and your family in this game called life. So now I leave that and I go to the United States. And again I say, the Democrat Party appears to want to destroy itself by simply not using common sense and being heartless. The very mouthpieces of the Democrat Party, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and on, they have flipped the script. It's an amazing thing to witness. They are pummeling the Democrat Party worse than the Fox News and the social media places. They are pummeling them. The amount of examples that are flooding social media. When I came home this afternoon, I just take from 6 o'clock to like 6:15. And I swear, I see more NBC, ABC, CNN a lot. Just exposing the Democrat Party for what it is. Worse than yesterday. In fact, 10 times worse. They're calling them heartless, ignorant, out of touch. Voters who are Democrats, who said they have voted Democrat their entire life, are saying they will never vote Democrat again, not even if you pay them. And they're encouraging the entire families and friends to abandon the Democrat plantation. It is shocking to me. I mean, I speak about this for years, but to see it coming to pass in the worst way possible. I see a video. I mean, when they sent it to me, I smiled. They tone deaf. AOC and some others coming down and dancing, and I guess they're playing Avengers and Mortal Kombat. I call them the Avengers and the Mortal Dumbats. That's what I call it. I mean, you had one lady, I think she was like number 4. She can't even stand up properly trying to do the thing. It's just madness. I mean, who is telling these people how to go to the public anymore? So the last time that the Democrats had any kind of sense in promoting a candidate was Barack Obama. But now we find out that half of what Barack Obama was saying during them campaign is lie. We don't even count Biden, because Biden used to have nobody at his rallies. Nobody. Cheers. And he said he win by 17 million people that suddenly disappear in 2024. They're dead. Them 17 million disappear because all of a sudden the Democrats are back down to 75 million to 76 million, which is what they were getting for years, even when they were winning. And Trump popped up to 77, which is right around what he was getting in 2020 and a little bit more. Well, let me tell you something. And I don't know if it's true, but I starting to read the tea leaves. There is some polls out that show right now that the Democrat Party is losing so many voters that MAGA, Trump, and them Republicans, who are righteous, if you want to call it that, they're clocking close to 80 million, if not 85 million, just in the data reports of the voting tallies that the Republicans keep. And they're keeping it kind of quiet, you know. It is on the fringes right now. But I am telling you, if the Democrats continue in the vein that they are going, the Republicans are going to be a super majority across the United States for the next 30 to 40 years. I'm saying it here. You are forewarned, so you're definitely forearmed. Big Democrat supporter I was. Big Democrat supporter. I don't support nonsense. You can't tell me that you as the Democrat supported closing the border and limiting illegal immigration, and then you flip that and let the Republicans take that as a policy and I must follow you? No, I don't follow people or party. I follow policies. So when Obama was deporting 375,000 illegal immigrants a year and you only had 1,000 or 500, 600 come across the border. Right now, Trump have 380 something. Ain't bad. Ain't much of a difference in the reality of it. But you want to tell me that for an entire 4-year period, we've been doing 8,000 plus across the border every day. And then you tell me only 11 million people in the United States. Well, what about those that you didn't catch, that you didn't let come through, that you didn't bust across the US? I'm telling you, it's about 30 million people pouring into the US. You could feel it in the United States and in the USVA. So when you hear these people in the USVA talking about they don't have foreign workers or they don't have enough workers, you know how much Haitians they got down the road? All of them come in illegal. You know how much people from across the globe is in the United States Virgin Islands? You ain't got no man shortage. You don't have no work shortage. Them is games that you're playing, but you must know why you're playing the games. Because right now, in the United States, when Trump started to ramp up the deportations, you know how many states had companies that were doing construction and harvesting of crops, that nobody was showing up to work? All the employees were illegal immigrants. All. You know what happened right after? People who couldn't get a job was crying on top of Facebook, saying that they just get hired on the spot by companies because the company didn't have the illegal immigrants no more. So guess what they did? They hire who came, and people who ain't had no job in 3-4 years were being hired for the rate that they wanted to get paid. Big man ball how he could get how he get a job so he could support his son. Women with tattoos who thought they will never get a job inside Walmart. Don't tell me that we as a people do not understand the price of illegal immigration. And I ain't against immigrants. I ain't even too much against the illegal immigration. All I saying is this here. If you come in as an illegal immigrant, you know that you could face deportation. That's the risk you take. And if you come in and you could make a couple thousand and you could send it back home for your family and you get through with it and then you get deported out, hey, the money that you get to send is more than the day before. Because I'm a realist now. I'm a realist. Them things don't happen. What I am saying is, you cannot put illegal immigrants and illegal immigration before the people of your country, because I can tell you, I am a U.S. citizen, but I was born in St. Kitts Nevis. There is no influx of no million. Okay, bring it down to the numbers of St. Kitts and Nevis. There will never be 100,000 illegal immigrants coming into St. Kitts and Nevis and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis put them up in the Marriott, or put them up in Nevis in the Four Seasons, and don't take care of the people in Nevis, you're crazy. I ain't even want to tell you what would happen. But I know it would never happen. And it wouldn't happen in Antigua. It wouldn't happen in St. Lucia. It wouldn't happen in Barbados. None of them countries. And they have immigration too, you know. They have people coming in and out, but not in them numbers. But America absorb, they say 11 million under the Biden administration by telling you gotta be about 30 million people into the US, and you think you ain't gonna feel it? You're gonna feel it. And 100% of the blame must be put on the Democrat Party, because Biden, whether he was competent, sound mind or not, if they faked that and he was no good, and they went around him and used that to their advantage to do what they want, then take what you get, because you're just as guilty. And Barack Obama bears some blame. Maybe not all, but he bears some blame. The mere fact that he would come out with the same BS talking points like the CNNs and the MSNBCs, you come out and you prove the very thing that the Republicans and MAGA was saying. It was like your third term. You didn't realize that when you raise your head, you're giving the people proof of what Trump was saying, and you're just making them want to come out and vote even more, encourage more people who didn't vote in 2020 to come out who were Republicans. When you turn around, I'm talking about Barack Obama, when you turn around, after you know what you did in the Trump first administration, January of 2017, 2017, you knew you set up a spy ring to go after Trump. It's going to be proven. It's going to be proven. Trump is putting out all the evidence day by day to break the Democrat Party into smithereens. You think the people, just 1 month, just 1 month after Trump really get in office, and the people already speaking about the party that I used to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and watch them win elections and thought they were the best for the United States, only to now have to realize that Trump and MAGA have exposed them for the corruptors they are. And you can't be vexed with Trump and MAGA. Be vexed at yourself that you could have somebody of my intelligence could come now and tell the people of the Virgin Islands, that solid black majority of Democrats, they're bullshitting on you. They're lying to you. They're mama guying on you. They're all about self. They're about enriching themselves. They're not for profits, the NGOs. They're across all the boards. They're across all the commissions. They want to be in every single agency and department. They just move around and recycle. You've seen it. It's the same thing in the US. The exact same thing that is being mimicked in the Virgin Islands, and especially in the Virgin Islands. It is harmful to the society. You know why it is harmful for the society? Because you're watching the people and you're telling them they ain't seeing what they're seeing. They ain't feeling what they're feeling. They ain't hearing what they're hearing. And oh God, they're not seeing what they're seeing. So they didn't see Bosholta come from Waiko, go to tourism, and then back at Waiko. They ain't seen Nelon Bori was at OMB, then he end up at GERS. They're not seeing Dawson all over. They just ain't seeing it. They ain't seeing O.C. Richards all over. From senator to this to that. They ain't seen Novell Francis was a commissioner going to be senate, and here he running for governor too. It just round and round and round. Recyclables. Recycling failure. Because they have no confidence. The only thing that have them prop up is corruption. I said it. The only thing that have them prop up is corruption. They take power and authority over people because of corruption. They take power and authority over people because people afraid to call them out on it. They take power and authority over people because of who they be and who they know or who they blow. Well, my lips sealed. I got a little space here in my teeth, but they love the spaces. Can you imagine if people come on Facebook and try to put my face on Facebook with my spaces as if that could do me something? Like I so fickle and weak that if you put something on Facebook about me and you try to LOL, that gonna move far? Are you crazy? You gotta be crazy. That is the weakness of man. And in these Virgin Islands, to my viewers, I am telling you, this isn't about me. This is me trying to tell you, you have nothing to fear. What they're going to do you. That they ain't already do you. You don't even have no power. They're rotating your power. You ain't got no place to go when you're sick. You got to leave Island. You're cheering them 3 years behind in school. They don't have enough hair to take care of the homeless, the mentally challenged, the mentally ill. The only thing they got here for is the exempt employees who they love. They could take $42,000 raises and nobody move. They could pump millions into WAPA and nobody move. They could sexually harass who they want, settle out what they want and nobody move. But trouble one of them daughter, no? Trouble one of them daughter, kill one of them children. You see the legislator jump to step in. All of a sudden they want to put laws into place because one of them get touched. But my children, them go suffer. Hey, no. I reject that. All of us gonna go down the same road. His son Leshan, brilliant. He's in the States doing what he got to do. Product of the Virgin Islands. Might never even come back here. There's nothing to offer him. My daughter Shanika left in the States already. Educated there. 2 degrees. One in social work and one in psychology. Come back into the Virgin Islands. You know why I tell her? She overqualified and she can't work human services. Because I got some buffoon up there who don't have no kind of degree. And them in supervisory positions. That is why here. She do her time here. And she gonna have to go. Because you have nothing to offer. Born right here. My daughter Sharifa, educated in the States, came back here. Gone already. Don't have nothing here to offer. My daughter Tahira, brilliant. Alpha Chi Kappa Wiver. I don't believe too much in them things, but to each his own. In the States, brilliant young girl, born here, don't have nothing here to offer. She gonna survive. My daughter Taisha, brilliant on the Florida governor's role. Could achieve anything she wants. She don't want to come back here. She want to go Japan. She want to go as far away as possible. You understand? I'm telling you, my son Omarion is in Nevis, doing well. Should I bring him here? Got nothing here to offer him. Nevis roads better than here. Nevis hotels them ramping up and moving. My son Evan just win the spelling bee and the math counts. Are you all up underneath him? Why you want to kill his father? Are you all up underneath him, but I want to kill his father? What go wrong, come wrong. And I could go on. My son, no, brilliant. On the autism scale, we can't even get services here. But he's high on the scale. And guess what? I say so. Because he's smart like a whip. He gonna do coding. He gonna do coding for me. Because this Virgin Islands need to get saved by its own who born right here. And my son, Lance, the last to come, but he might be the first later on in life. Because one way or the other, I'm going to change it. One way or the other, I'm going to change it. Remember, I tell you so. And each of us got skills. And I am saying, this is the confidence you have to have. Knowing that you are the present, yes. And you're looking out for your children, and your children, as they must take care of you later on. But you're also looking out for the community as a whole. And if all of us do the same thing, can you imagine where these U.S. Virgin Islands could go? When we have children that are so educated, bright, contributions from all different places, from languages to mathematics to sciences, to music. All of us have children who are willing and able to do it, born right here, and we're 3 years behind in the learning curve. And our leaders, them want me to come and don't have a discussion with my viewers and my listeners. Straight up facts, straight up truth. How we gonna change? How much longer I think I gonna enrich ourselves before somebody catch the ass? How much more I think that I gonna enrich ourselves and try to go on like, well, I are big and bougie and nobody could do I or nothing before some of that changes? You think only I could walk up here? Do you guys believe it's only I could walk up here? Only I think that I join Masons? Is only you guys join the Sisters of the Light or whatever? So nobody else know nothing to combat what I'm doing. I just believe it's only I one who know it. But let me tell you what is there to combat I. You see that one up above? Eh? You see that cross? That Jesus Christ and God? None are powerful, more powerful than he. And maybe I want to serve who I want to serve. But I got the confidence to tell I this now. Your days are numbered. Your days are numbered. The people in the United States have proven that the Democrat Party's days are numbered. So to the people of the U.S. Virgin Islands, your days are numbered. All of the people who have misled you for all these years would take you to the cliff and push you over. Collister Fahie says so. How much more examples you want in the community? You see anybody hugging up Cal White and out there defending him and saying, oh no, they know for sure he ain't do it? Which one of the elected officials you see saying on the mic that? How much of them you see hugging up O'Neill and putting their neck on the line and saying they know for a fact that she ain't committing no crime and that she gonna get away free because they got the evidence to prove it? Not one of them. Where Martinez friend them. That is why I don't do politics, really, I do humanity. And I've said it already and I say it again. All of you are my friends. Every single one of you are my friends. You can't get mad at me for talking the truth. And if you want to get mad at me, that's your business. But at the end of the day, I don't talk politics with you. Because when it comes to telling you what the truth is and call you corrupt, tell you that you have conflicts of interest, you should have known better. I tell you so. You ain't going to want to hear it. So all I'm going to stay doing is ask her, hey, how your wife doing? How your kids doing? All right, one love I gone because you don't know where I stand in the politics. And like I say, anybody take orange jumpsuit, man, sorry for you, because I supposed to know better. Because nobody tell her take a brown bag. Nobody say steal no government funds. Nobody tell her take contracts under subcontracts under contracts. Nobody tell her do that. And I should have enough confidence in yourself to go about it the right way. And because you did not have the confidence in yourself, you guys decide that I got to make sure that Governor Albert Bryan and Tregenza Roach win the election. So you got to put your hand in that. Then you still want to be on the receiving end of contracts. And you still want to be on the receiving end of being on all the board them in St. Thomas. You still want to be on the receiving end of being big in company that is now going to come and pillage the Virgin Islands under the same people that you were up under? If I were confident, I should have known that Governor Bryan was going to win the election regardless, and simply do our construction and contracting companies and come in and bid fairly. I would have been the first to say, well done. You followed the rules, you did it right, and even though you is a friend of the governor, you voted for the governor, and you was not out there campaigning and pulling in donations and on the stage jumping up. People like Raymond Williams, Attorney General Gordon Rea, you supposed to done move and this man. How? You think that walking around St. Croix playing big bully with fancy glasses and a little dashiki and walking around like that means something in this big wide open world? Are you small fish? In fact, are you plankton when it come to the wall? Walking around here playing like I is big fish. I am nothing in this world. Nothing. All I could do is speak the truth. Because I am something to my family, my children. I am their world. But in the grand scheme of things, I can't walk on nobody in St. Thomas, St. Croix, or St. John. I can't walk on nobody. I try my best to be as humble as can be, but sometimes being humble don't cut it, you gotta be really cross. Take no disrespect from no man. A man slap your parking back a slap. That is how 2025 is. And so the Bible says, turn the other cheek. I tell all my children them. Just like Malcolm X. A man dare to put his hand on you, then that is the last time he's supposed to put his hand on you. You're supposed to put him in the grave. And I straight. That is how the people of the Virgin Islands supposed to be seeing this government. This government is putting you in the grave. How much more people gonna to die before we stop? Oh, you say nobody dying, man. For you being dramatic. Really? Nobody dying? We went from 100,000 to 80-something thousand as a population. They tell you that the Western Cemetery can't take no more dead bodies. They build one out country in Smith Bay, and I don't realize why it is going on. People are dead. People dying. Look how much young people now have left us through gun violence. People are dying. It is the policies, failed policies of a failed Democrat Party that have many of our children in the grave. Many of our elders in the grave. You mightn't see it, you might want to think it, but it's the truth. And so, as it is being exposed in the US, that it is bad policies that lead to everything that happens in our country, to include the territories. High cost of food, high gas, crime, corruption, misfeasance, malfeasance, an explosion of transgenderism, an explosion of social issues that we have never seen before. That is the cost. That is the cost of failed policies. And so the people of the Virgin Islands follow the people of the United States, because it is your own Democrat voters now, staunch supporters, some for 20, 30 years, who are overwhelming social media by walking away publicly, stating that they are going to take as many people as they can. They're going to try to wake up as many people as they can. And they are never going back to voting Democrat. Not if they continue with the nonsensical, asinine policies that they are now for. And especially if the level of corruption that they're seeing and is being proven true, then they now understand that they have been nothing but chattel. They have been slaves on a Democrat plantation. But we're going to end here. We're going to end with some good news. And we move over to Africa. Remember early on in my podcast, and for some who didn't watch from early on, I mentioned the name of this young 30-something-year-old general in Burkina Faso, Traore, and told you that he was making leaps and bounds in Africa. And he may be the model that needs to be followed, as Trump may be the model that needs to be followed also. Well, Traore has revolutionized his agriculture in Burkina Faso, and Burkina Faso is now almost self-sufficient when it comes to agriculture, exploding the place. He has taken the money that he has made from his minerals, oils, and he has made his roads pristine. He has tamped down on government corruption. Government officials must be paid a decent wage based on the GDP of the country. So they take reasonable salaries. He still takes his army salary because he was an army man. That is the salary he's taking. Nothing more. Yes, he took over in a coup and he is stabilizing the country. Now he is moving towards having the first election, democratically held election, probably later this year or early next year. Because while it was supposed to be done early this year, he decided no, he must implement the savings and the anti-corruption and ethical practices and policies that he's putting in place. Well, lo and behold, he has opened manufacturing plants to put all of his agricultural product in and sell it across Africa. Tomatoes, carrots. I mean, this man is moving like a genius. Then he went and pumped money into improving the textile industries in Burkina Faso, and it's moving well, producing and pumping newfound wealth into the country, plus the minerals and the oils. Still, he is multiplying and diversifying his economy across the board. Well, lo and behold, today, as I do my research, I happen to look and I say, well, let me see what Traore is up to. I say, oh my goodness. At 6:30, I was blown away. Burkina Faso has now opened up a detergent factory so that they could produce detergents in their own country to bring down the cost, and they could export throughout Africa. Another economical area created. Government money turned over into a refinery, producing now more jobs for the country. Where are the people at the Virgin Islands who lead us? Where are they? The confidence of Burkina Faso right now is through the roof. The people begging him to go to the polls. Please call for election. Let's vote you in 100%. You ain't even going to have opposition. That is the confidence he have created among his people. The countries surrounding him are begging him for his wisdom. Show us how we could work with you. Give us ideas. If you're going to do corn and you're going to do maize, if you're going to do wheat, if you're going to do tomatoes, then maybe we're going to do herbs. Maybe we're going to do teas. Show us how you do it. The revolutionizing of Burkina Faso, the reason why I keep bringing it up, why aren't our leaders just simply researching this man? Just research him. See if you don't see wisdom in what he's doing. His economy is diversified. He ain't relying on tourism. He ain't relying on hoping that the refinery gonna be opening. The man putting down refineries, warehouses, putting the farmers to work, helping the farmers to package the thing. Package the thing. Why we can't do the same thing in the Virgin Islands? Copycat ain't no shame if it's for good. How are you learn to thief then? If somebody ain't teach you how to thief. But I learned that. So as I go tonight, my people of the Virgin Islands, the world, I say everything is a choice. Corruption is a choice. Anti-corruption is a choice. Seeking wisdom is a choice. Learning how to thief and seeking that is a choice. The difference in confidence or weakness is a choice. And so tonight, before I go, let me just say this. Anybody who confidently walks in tandem with others to lead the people of the Virgin Islands astray, steal the money from their coffers, knock the people of the Virgin Islands on their ass, have no power, no reliable power. Water, so-so. Roads, bad. Hospitals, bad. Education system, bad. How I could rate ourselves and give ourselves a grade of a C? I have never seen people so love to give themselves a C, so they say they got a barely passing grade. Well, it's going to come to a head soon. It's going to come to a head. Because what you consider confidence, I consider weakness for you. And I have the confidence after watching social media and the comments on these stories. I'm telling you. After watching, excuse me, the jury in St. Croix, how long did it take to find a not guilty verdict? A day or was it an hour? Don't recall. But it was quick. I have the confidence that the winds of change are coming to these Virgin Islands. And if I can blow behind the wind to make it blow a little harder, I'm going to keep blowing. Because notice how quiet our government officials and leaders are. It is because finally they no longer have confidence because their weaknesses have shone through. They are weaker than you think. Their fear now of the people have started to show through. So have confidence, my people. Trump is about to dismantle the Department of Education. We're going to see where that goes. Trump is on the verge of dismantling FEMA. We're going to see where that goes. Today, Trump has found more ways, more fraud, more theft of HUD funds, more theft of Social Security funds, more NGOs that pop up and were given huge billions of dollars just to circumvent Trump. And I say it already and I say it again. Are there any not-for-profits in the Virgin Islands with the name climate or change or climate change? And do you or have you received any funding recently or over the last few years, and you have not done a darn thing to do with climate change or green anything. It was just another slush fund and divvying up monies to the people who they give kickbacks to. I hope not. Time will tell. But my people of the Virgin Islands, the world, and the Caribbean, just know that confidence is a stain that you can't wipe off, just like weakness. Weakness is a crutch that you can never get over. You're going to be limping all the time of your life because weakness is what we have in the Virgin Islands as leaders. Confidence is what I see the people beginning to have in full numbers. And I encouraging you to stay confident. Do like me. Always have hope. As long as you know that you're doing the right thing and you're following the rules, regulations, and laws, no man can make you do anything corrupt. Because if they even try to do anything like that, you will soundly tell them that they are crooked. Because then they would be. So to the people of the Caribbean, I know I ain't touching much of you, but tomorrow night I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Caribbean. Because I got some things going on in the Caribbean that is troublesome. USAID were pumping money down Caribbean too. Green New Deal and Green New Scam was down Caribbean island too. But I want to devote some time to the Caribbean tomorrow night. So my people, my listeners, Naomi, thank you for listening. Cheryl, Chantel, Judy, and the crew. Everybody, I don't like to call names because some people are going to get left out. But just imagine that I just rattle them off. Cheryl, Cathy, and on and on and on. My beloved people of the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, North and Central America, South America, Europe, Africa, and the entire world. But especially to my people of the Virgin Islands. Good night, God bless, and stay confident. You got this.